What challenges are you facing right now? I want you to think about it really specifically because the more specific that you can get, the more this episode is going to help you. I have got a tool for you today on how to solve a challenge that you're facing, and I'm going to share what that tool is. And if you're listening to this and you're a regular listener, you might have noticed that the podcast name has changed. So it used to be called How to Take Action, and it's now called Stop Procrastinating for Entrepreneurs. And the reason that I have changed it is because of a challenge that I was facing. And the tool that I used to figure out the solution to that challenge is the tool that I'm going to share with you in this episode. So I set a goal to grow my podcast to the top 1% most followed. So last year it was in the top 10% most followed, which is amazing. Thank you very much for listening if you're a long-time listener, and welcome if you're new. But I knew that getting to this 1% or the top 1% most followed was going to be a challenge. And I have been trying a bunch of different things to solve this challenge. So I have tried running Facebook ads and other social media ads. I have hired experts to help me with it. I've interviewed people who have like some of the top rated podcasts in the world and asked them what their secrets are. I have done guesting on other people's podcasts. And I know that any of these solutions that I've tried can work, right? If I really go to the full degree with them and I take them all the way, I can absolutely make any of those solutions work. And the reason that I know that is because after coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs, I know that there is no right way to do anything. There's no perfect way. There's no magic way. But I have been trying to figure out which way is going to be the best way for me to grow this podcast. And I realized that I've actually been asking myself the wrong question. I had been asking myself the question, what is the magic solution that I should use to grow my podcast? Here's why that's the wrong question. Any solution is going to work. Any of those solutions could work if I do the work, right? Guesting, if I decide to go and guest on a podcast every day, for sure my podcast is going to grow really quickly because I'm going to get a lot of new eyeballs. Or if I decide to put a ton of ad spend behind an ad campaign, that could work too. And so if any of them could theoretically work if I do the work, then the question that I should have been asking myself is, what do I want the solution to be? And as soon as I asked myself that question, it became crystal clear what I should do. And that is to get more organic search. I realized the ideal solution is that I don't have to spend money on ads. I don't have to go on a million other people's podcasts to grow it. It's that I get people finding my podcast just from the organic search. And instantly it became clear that the problem was that people weren't finding me in the organic search as frequently as I want to. People still did find me through my podcast name, How to Take Action. But really what we talk about on this podcast is how to stop procrastinating and how to get yourself to actually take action in your business. And so I was like, we just better rename it that. And it's been a really interesting journey getting to this place because I was so attached to the name How to Take Action. I thought it was so cool and fun, which even when I started this podcast, I did not think that when I created that name for it. But after a while, I kind of got used to it and I started telling people about it and I fell in love with the name. And so I had to detach myself from that in order for the solution that I want to be the solution to work. So even though any solution could work, it always makes sense to do the one that you actually want to do. Because if you're going to do a solution that you think is the solution, like the thing that everyone else is telling you, that's the solution, you may not want to do that. Like, I know that there's people who grow their podcasts massively with ads, but I don't desire to put thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars behind ad spend if there's another way. What I want the solution to be is that people just turn up and they find me on their own. And I realized there was a big blocker in the way, and that was the name of my podcast. People just weren't going to search that. And some people do search How to Take Action, but most people are searching procrastination. And so that is why I realized I have to change this name. So the tool that I have for you today is to ask yourself, not what is the solution to my challenge, but what do I want the solution to be? And my immediate reaction when I did ask myself this question was, well, I want it to be that everyone just turns up now and I just wake up tomorrow with 1 million subscribers on my podcast. But creating results requires that we take action. There is no way that you're going to create results without taking action. And so when you're asking yourself this question, what do I want the solution to be? Know that it has to be something that you are going to do. So what do you want the solution to be that involves taking action? Another beautiful thing about this question is it starts to open up possibilities that weren't here before. Because for me, I never even really considered changing my podcast name. I just thought that I needed to put money in behind ads. And I was like Googling, like, what are people doing? And I read every article on how to grow your podcast. And I was in every Facebook group, like listening to what people are doing. And I would be like running over here, like, did they say it was Facebook ads? Okay, tell everyone it's Facebook ads. And then I'd run over here and be like, oh, someone said that it's some other solution. And I would run away and feel like that was the solution. And I was spending so much time trying to force a solution that I thought was going to be the solution instead of asking myself, what do I want the solution to be? And then new possibilities arise and I'm going to make this the solution. Now, it is not changing my podcast name that is the solution, but it is creating more organic search traffic. I know that this works because some of my friends have very successful podcasts because of the name of their podcast, but even if this doesn't work, changing the podcast name, what I want the solution to be is organic search. I want people to find me through that. And so I can continue to take action towards that goal of creating more organic search to find me. And if you don't know what organic means, it's just like not paid search. So there's paid search like Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And then there's organic search, which is what people find just by looking you up. So I've worked with entrepreneurs for a really long time, and I know that so many of us are doing things that we don't want to do in our businesses because we think that that is the solution to our challenge. The number of people I coach who say, I want to set up a social media, that's how I'm going to grow my business. And then I ask them, well, do you want to be on social media? And they're like, I hate social media. I'm like, why on earth are you making that the solution? Because we think that there is some right magic solution out there for the challenge that we're facing. And we think that like someone else has it and it's the magic solution. And when we find that, then our whole business is going to take off. Then everything's going to work. Then your podcast is going to work. But really, there is no magic solution. You are the magic solution. And whatever you do and wherever you go will be the magic. That will be what works because you show up and you do the work. But you're not going to do that if you don't want to do that solution, if you're taking on a solution that you actually don't like. So people always tell me social media is the way they're going to grow their business and then they don't actually like it. Guess how many posts they do? None. Right? So you want to make sure that you're not using the solution that you think is the solution against yourself. Like business has been around for thousands of years. There are infinite possibilities and solutions that are available to you that are not just in today's technological era. It doesn't have to be social media if you don't want it to be. It doesn't have to be ads. It doesn't have to be ClickFunnels. I know when I started my business, I was really in this mindset that there was a solution and I just didn't know what it was. And once I had that solution, then it was all going to work for me. And I spent 2 years in that mentality, changing my mind every day, because that's something else that happens. When you think that there's a magic solution, you will switch your solution constantly. You will always be looking for the new thing. I was watching endless webinars and going on different trainings and workshops where people claim to have like the solution. And I was running around the internet, like in Facebook groups, like listening into people's conversations, and someone would be like, you know, I heard it's LinkedIn ads, and we'd all be like, oh, it's LinkedIn, tell everyone. Run back to the people, run back to my little posse of new entrepreneur friends and be like, it's LinkedIn ads, guys, that's the solution. I heard it in the Facebook group. Or like I'd watch a Gary Vee video and be like, well, Gary Vee says that it's TikTok. Gary Vee says the solution is we have to be on TikTok. And so you would run around and do TikTok. And the more you see that there is no right solution, the easier it is going to be for you to actually just show up and take action on the solution that you want to be the solution until it works. Like, this is why I don't focus on marketing or sales in my program. I am not a business coach. I am a procrastination coach for entrepreneurs who are struggling to get themselves to do the things that they know can work. Because honestly, I have had clients come to me with every type of marketing that you can imagine. I have got clients who are super successful in networking. I've got clients who make a ton of money through cold sales calls. Some people do sales emails. Some people love social media. It is never about the platform itself. It is always about, are you doing it? Are you showing up to make it work? And do you want to do that? So when you think about your challenge and you ask the question, what do I want the solution to be? What comes up for you? Really want you to sit and I want you to notice the first thing other than do nothing, right? The first thing that you know you could do. What is it that you want to happen? And then go and put all your energy into that instead. And this isn't just for marketing solutions. This could be any kind of challenge that you're facing. If you're facing a challenge with your customers, or you're facing a challenge with the fact that your Instagram got shut down, what do you want the solution to be? In any situation, you can always ask that question, and it is going to lead you in the direction that you should start taking action. Now, if it does not work, because of course there are certain small elements of things that aren't going to work, there's going to be more obstacles ahead, you get to keep asking yourself that question. Now that I have this new information, what do I want the solution to be? And I want to make sure that we talk about the difference between obstacles and problems, because I did a whole episode on this that you can go and listen to, but an obstacle is something that happens in the real world, something that you need to make a decision about. So for me, it's an obstacle to figure out how to get more people to my podcast. But a problem is something that you create in your mind. So it's an obstacle that I don't have as many people yet listening to this podcast that I need to hit my goal with it, but it's not a problem. Like, I haven't made that a problem. It becomes a problem when I start thinking, oh no, like, what does that mean about who I am? What if I don't hit the goal? What if I've told everyone I'm going to hit this goal and I don't hit it? That's when we start to create a problem, when there's just an obstacle. And the way I like to think about the difference between problems and obstacles is, you know how when there's been like a traffic jam of some kind, you've got literal roadblocks up in your way in the car while you're driving. There are some people who see those roadblocks as obstacles. They can see roadblock ahead, we're going to have to turn right or make a detour, or we're going to have to sit in this traffic and wait. They can see the obstacle for the obstacle. And there are some people who turn that obstacle in front of them into a gigantic problem. I hate the traffic in this city. Why did no one tell me about this in advance? We should have heard about this on the news. And like, who's that person next to me? Can't believe how hot it is right now. And this is a disgrace, right? Like, road rage itself comes from turning obstacles into problems. And so if you're having a problem right now, the solution is to change what you're thinking. But if you have an obstacle in front of you, then you can figure out what decision do you need to make a change. And the reason why it's so important that we distinguish between problems and obstacles is because if you are trying to solve a problem right now, you do not need to go out and find some new solution out in the world. You just need to change the way that you're thinking about the problem. So you get to decide it's not a problem. You get to decide, you know what, it doesn't matter. Like, I am not going to let it be a problem if I don't get the listeners to hit my goal. It's not going to be a problem. It's just, okay, how do we solve this next obstacle? Why is it not working? What is working? How can we do more of that? What do I want the solution to be now that I have this new information? I'm not going to let that become a problem. I actually talked a lot about this in my episode on, are you using your goal against yourself? Where you set a goal, like you want to grow your business or you want to grow your podcast, and you have the obstacles, the challenges in front of you, but then you make them a problem and you use that against yourself and use it to mean that you're a terrible person, or you're never going to achieve your goals, or that you should push harder and put more pressure on yourself. And so we really don't want to do that. So I just wanted to make that distinction between obstacles and problems. If you have an obstacle in front of you, a challenge that you are facing, ask yourself, what do I want the solution to be? And if you have been turning that into a problem that you don't have the solution yet, just allow yourself to take a step back and go, what would I need to think instead? What could I think about this that would make it not a problem, that I haven't achieved the goal yet, or that this obstacle is in my way? Okay, so that is why I have changed the name of my podcast to Stop Procrastinating for Entrepreneurs. The content is all going to be just the same. It is the exact same thing as before. I am helping you take action on your goals in business. And if you want more help with that, you have to come and get coached by me. It is going to change your entire business forever, because you're going to actually do what you said you're going to do. I know there are some people thinking like, but I shouldn't have to get help for this, right? I should just know how to get myself to take action. But I want you to know that the top performers in this world, whether we're talking athletes or entrepreneurs or singers, they all get help to help them perform at their highest level. So you are not an underperformer. If you join my program, you are a high performer. You are one of the ones who is showing up and saying, I want to become the best that I possibly can. I want to build my business. I want to become someone who always does what they say they're going to do so I can hit any goal that I set. That's what joining a program like Action Academy, my group coaching program, is for. It's a group of high performers who all come together to take action on their biggest, craziest, most impossible business goals. And it is the best. So you want to come and make sure you join my program and get coached by me. All you have to do is go to my website, saraharnoldhall.com, to sign up. And in the meantime, I hope that you face the challenge that you're facing this week with the realization that you don't have to do it the way you think you have to do it or the way you think you have to solve it. The best way you can possibly solve it is by asking yourself, what do I want the solution to be? All right, I will talk to you in the next episode of Stop Procrastinating for Entrepreneurs.